Welcome to the Ooru Labs podcast, where we talk about the future of urban sustainability. We'll check out hot topics, trending news in the areas of urban transport, waste, energy, water, everything, and the new digital economy with its implications for urban living. Right? So this is what we've been doing since last week. And speaking of which, have you heard of AltMo recently? So AltMo is a mobility intelligence platform for quantifying end-to-end sustainable transport modes towards achieving climate change goals. As of today, it has people from 99 cities. Well, we're just one short of a century. And across 617 organizations on the leaderboard. And it's also actively tracking mainline public transport modes to encourage first and last mile commutes. Interestingly, AltMo went live for the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs Smart Cities mission on February 1st, 2023 for the Freedom to Walk, Cycle and Run Challenge. So this has been an interesting journey for all of us, and a big shout out to MapUnity for funding the development costs for AltMo over the years that we have been building it. And it has a history which we'll talk about, and for being a part of the journey. But you know what? I have the team that built this amazing platform with me over the past few years. Here they are, and I'll introduce you to them. Here's Sapna, Nirav, and Venkata. Hi guys, thanks for joining me on this show. And hopefully today we can talk a little bit about the journey that we have together gone through over the past 4 years. So AltMo started I remember launching it on the September 22nd car-free day of 2018. Of course, we had built the platform, me and Venkata, and you had gone around a little bit and said, okay, this is what we are going to launch it with. And then we started tracking rides. I think we started with October 1st, a little bit of rides. And then we said from January 1st, let's go the whole hog. So January 1st, 2019, since then we have been pulling cycle rides. Interestingly, it was not called AltMo then, right? It was called Cycle to Work, right? Yeah. Venkata, what do you remember about those days when we started Cycle to Work? I think we started building a little earlier, no? Some 4 months of work we had done before that.
Around 1.5, 2 months back, we started the development, Satya. So the first ride we got on September 18th, 2018. So that is the first user registered in the Cycle to Work.
So that was not you or me, right? That was somebody else, right?
Yeah, somebody else. So it's a great, amazing opportunity to work on Cycle to Work, really. So initially we thought we'll just try to track users with the help of our own tracking system, and then we started integrating the Strava. So it's a great journey for me, really, to learn more things, to how to integrating the other third-party APIs, and how to interacting with the real-time customers as and when they got any problems, we'll jump into quickly and we'll try to resolve them. So we got a lot of appreciations from the customers also. It's a great journey for me, really.
Right. And I think from then, Cycle to Work has transformed a lot. We kept fixing things. We kept moving it along. Sapna, you will remember all the things. Sapna has been keeping us all honest by, if it's not on Trello, it is not done. So let's go through that. Sapna, what were your experiences of looking at this thing from the beginning and managing this day in and day out within all of us, keeping us honest? I was out there trying to get people to sign up and do things, and you and Venkata were holding fort for a while. How did that feel for you?
Yeah, I think I won't deny that we didn't go crazy. It would get crazy working with Satya, because they'll be like, guys, we have to add this feature. Guys, this is what we need today. And we will be like, we haven't even finished that. Why are we jumping in a new one? Put it on Trello, I'm not doing anything which you are not documenting. But as Venkata said, it's been a great journey. So many of us at MapUnity started cycling. I remember Himanshu going and buying a new bike and helmet and everything, and then everybody got on Strava, and MapUnity was trending at number 3 or 4 when we had first started.
Yes.
So many of us were cycling and tracking, to see how the app is working. Yes, Satya, I think this is one of the first app of MapUnity that is so public facing, and I think we see people using it, and that is a very exciting thing for me, if you ask me. And so
But
thank
then,
you for bringing this idea and, giving it, this idea, bringing it forth. And today we see AltMo up there.
yeah. No, but along the way, I remember Venkta pulling up this whole interface and the UI that we first. It was very bare bones. It was very basic, and we had pulled it up.
Yes.
And I think I remember Himanshu doing something after you did a little bit of materialized view or something. He put it in there, and uh, but it's come a long way, right? And that's when I think Nirav came in and gave that whole thing that push in that it required. What made you? He looked at it once and said, "No, we have to do something about this." Right? Tell me about it, Nirav. What did you feel, and how did you feel? Like, what should you had a mind? Because, oh, by the way, to everyone who's listening in, Nirav also races, and he's a power user of Strava, if I may say so. He writes for the Goa. He writes for Goa in the nationals, so he's our pro cyclist. So when you saw that, I'm sure you felt something.
Firstly, I don't know about power user because I would say I'm the average user of Strava. Strava is now, trying to get into urban mobility and commutes, and the primary source of activities was just running and racing in terms of cycling. But coming back to the app, in terms of the UI, it was just very scattered. I would say we have all the components, but I just saw the UI, and with the advent of people using their phones more, I just firstly thought that this app needs to be more responsive. People need to be able to use it on their phones, because that's the first thing any user would ask you. Hey, if I'm pitching this app to someone, oh great, can I use it on my phone? Do you have a mobile app? Or at least make it browser responsive. That was the goal. So whatever technologies that I chose to use was just with the goal of making it a little more responsive, easier to work with as a team. So that, let's just say, if you have a feature specification that Venkat and I need to work on, we could easily spec it down and then get going on it. So that's two of the main reasons why I chose whatever we have implemented, and why the app looks like what it looks right now.
I think it also went through another round just recently that makes it look so nice.
Yeah.
This is very clean look. What was your thinking behind this clean, plain, minimalistic look? What did you feel about this?
So initially, if there are any viewers watching who have used the Cycle to Work app before it was AltMo, would have seen that app was slightly more like a game in a certain sense, because it had a very informal sort of feel to it, wherein we had these really funky icons, very funky colors. And from then we just shifted. Once the app was AltMo, I thought that we need to follow like modern design standards. And it's for us who have been working on apps for the last few years, it's a completely different shift in terms of design language. It's a lot of white space everywhere, padding here, padding there, margin here, margin there. It's just giving each and every element, be it a simple header, be it a simple card, or just a small button, just giving every element some space to breathe, so that when you as a user look at the website, it just looks very soothing to your eyes, and the flow of the entire website is just a little more well-rounded. So that was then the shift from Cycle to Work to AltMo, just to get everything to follow modern design standards, and just get the app looking a little more modern and a little less funky is the only word that comes to my mind than the previous Cycle to Work app. Even though that was my own design, but like even in the last 2 years, the broader design language has shifted so much to this minimalist look, and that's what I wanted to implement with AltMo.
I think it's been interesting. The look and feel has definitely come a long way. It's more user friendly, and one of the things was definitely that we didn't want to kind of for the features that we have, continue to build expensive mobile apps for people to download and all of those things. I feel that right now we are very well placed that AltMo can be very useful for a lot of people. For those who haven't heard and are listening in, I think you should give it a shot. There are a few more nice things up the alleyway. You saw the public transport interface that we want to get more people to ride to the last mile. and we are looking at trying to see how this platform can scale to add more sources. There has been a lot of demand, and the ridership has increased quite a bit on the cycling side. While we continue to do that, we want to introduce more stuff. Where do you guys personally see what would make you happy seeing in AltMo? What do you think your favorite feature that you have built, and what would like to build? Venkata, let's start with you.
Yeah, as I said, initially we started tracking the cycle to work commute rides. So where I feel the challenging is to introducing the public transport rides. So that is one good feature we introduced recently. So it enhanced our cycle to work program, really, I can say.
Yeah. And that's interestingly why we renamed it AltMo, is because we didn't want people to think that it was just cycling to work alone, while it's a major part of it, and we wanted the public transport piece to come in. What do you think is your favorite feature that you'd like to see in what you're building on the UI side?
No, on the UI, I mean, to be honest, that's exactly what I was going to say, the public transit feature as a whole. So for viewers who are unaware of what this feature is, before with Cycle to Work, you could track your cycle rides to and from work. So now what we have enabled with AltMo is if you also go to any public transit stop, let's just say on the way to your commute, if you need to take the metro, you can track your rides to and from the metro station as well. And we have a certain metrics that we calculate for your ride. So an example is the CO2 offset for your particular ride. So you could either walk or even cycle to a metro station, and we will be able to track that. So that's one feature as a complete set that I really like, and that I would love to see sort of us improve on as well. Because even from a UI perspective, it's just telling the user that your entire commute to work consists of many different individual parts, but these parts come up and sum into this one whole commute from your home to your office and back. So you might have the metro segment in the middle or your bus segment in the middle, but it's an entire single piece. So if we can capture that, that's a great value add to have for the entire platform.
Sapna,
that's my favorite.
My best feature, actually, the one that I showcase the most to whoever I talk about MapUnity platform in general, is the yesterday's rides, actually. I show them and tell them, see, this is where people are cycling. So what does that tell us? That this is where the infrastructure for cycling has to be put up. That this is the companies, these are the routes that are being taken. So even the companies can look at that data and say, oh, my employees are cycling from here to here. So what can we do to improve their cycling journey? And even like being a woman, I would like to know if I could ride with someone, just to have that security and safety feeling. So yesterday's rides or routes, I actually like to watch that quite a bit. I like to see how people are traveling and commuting. And that's my best feature, actually.
For me, personally, the best feature that has been built so far is the platform itself. So I would. That's just amazing. It's amazing that we've gotten this far with everything. But I would like to see more sources being added. Right now, we are with Strava right now, and we are adding a few more. I would like to see more sources being added. I think that makes it more. But of course, it requires a lot of work on our side, which we are struggling to manage. And a shout out to investors who might want to. We should do that as well. But it's interesting that if we can get a little more bandwidth afforded, we could build a lot more of these things. But I think we are there. This year we will see more sources being added, and I also like better analytics. Like you like to see the map. Nirav talked about the entire trip stringing end to end. We have all the components. I think we need to just build that out nicely, and we are looking at giving users. Not necessarily like traditional come here, keep looking at this. It should be as little minimal involvement as possible, and you can get in and see how we can build more community features. There are a bunch of things, a lot of work to do. I think the platform is shaping up really well. But let's see how it goes. It's been good. I would like to talk about the Freedom to Walk, Cycle and Run challenge. It's been one of our biggest. So we have added the sports thing for the first time. It's not necessarily any of the commutes, though they have their commutes and they are on the leaderboard. I think we have a lot of people clocking just runs and all of those things. It's motivated them so much. I can see them every day coming in and saying,
Yes.
"Hey, I'm not there. Why am I not there? What's going on?" I said, just look here. So we do have a lot of that going on, and that leaderboard is looking good as well. And I think it's got a lot of excitement going. I think that's the biggest part of this for this small team and Ram, of course, who's missing in action today because he's out. I think we have how efficiently we've been able to build this and build the traction and find our fit has been an exciting story to tell. Any last words on
Actually,
AltMo
like
for
a
the
quick
viewers?
shout out to our leaderboard as well. I mean, all our leaderboards, because that's quite a unique feature that we have, and is one of the benchmark features on the application. So maybe I honestly think you should just spend some time just telling the viewers or just guiding the viewers through our 3 leaderboards, just very briefly.
Yeah, why not? Why not? I think we should do that.
I think this
Keep
leaderboard
talking.
was Satya's dream. I would say, dream child.
Correct.
He would always talk about leaderboard. We
Leaderboard.
have never developed any leaderboard in Snap Unity at that point. And we would be like,
Yes.
what leaderboard? And he would be like, we should gamify it. We'll show this. And when it came, when we implemented and we saw, then we really understood the power of a leaderboard.
So that's interesting, right? So thank you all for doing it. But here's the thing: how that's interesting thought as to there's a whole idea of gamification that has come about. Lots of people are talking about it right now. After we launched, quite a few people are saying, "Okay, let's build some leaderboards." But here's the thing: we are tapping into one small bias that people have, right? On the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, they would like to use this to say, how can I compete with people? Because I've already self-actualized. I'm not looking at this to do this. So I think at some level, people would like to compete. All of us do, whether it's in our professional life or wherever it is. If this can enable that to happen, and gaming for the new generation is a massive thing, because back when we were, the only games we used to play was on the street with bats. But right now there's a lot more gaming happening. There's a lot more digital twins coming up. There's a lot more virtualization of the real world happening, and people are using that as a proxy for things. The good part about it is this is not a game where you only play on the screen, right? You actually have to do it on the ground and then come back and do this. And it has become a very powerful feature for being able to actually get towards climate change, because we are all talking about climate change. Our bias to action needs to be addressed, right? How do you get people to act on the small things that they can, and then see that cumulatively it is adding up, right? So the first one we did was this whole, what you see is the leaderboard of companies and organizations. Basically, you could be an institution, you could be an organization. When you sign up and you clock your rides, soon we'll get walk as well. When you start clocking them, you start putting data out for people to show that there are enough number of people doing this. Why do we do this? Is because people say nobody cycles. I don't see anybody. I have 5 people around me. That's all I see. Right? There are actually large number of people who are not aggregated for you to see in your cocoon of daily life that you face, right? So the idea is to aggregate. You can aggregate so many things today. Why not aggregate the good things in life and bring people together? And that's how this started. And I feel the impact that we have created, this data has been used by the government of Karnataka. Silvassa has won a Digital Smart City Award as well for this. Now the entire Smart City mission has chosen among how many do we have now on the F2WCR? I think I don't know. Let's go and see how many cities we have.
26 cities.
Yeah, that are actively tracking, and there are far more who have registered and who probably will be on there as well, right? These are all leaders in different cities, the heads, the commissioners, the people who can actually set an example. And for them also, it is proving to be good. So this is the second kind of leaderboard that we have, organizational. And then we have the public transport leaderboard as well, right? Which is basically how much we start apportioning the fuel saved and carbon credits to each of these stations. As the more you use a particular station, the more the metro station or the bus rapid transit system, whatever they might be, they start to see benefits accrue to themselves as well, and the entire trip becomes greener and greener as we go along. And this is for people who don't have to do complete trips. So these are the three different kinds of leaderboards we have right now, and do check it out, people who are watching. And if you want to get on board, just sign in, and we should be able to make the benefits apparent. But that's where we are. I don't want to go on for too long and bore people. While we have Nirav here, what's the rest of the news happening? We have our new CFAM newsletter out. It talks about all the activities that have been happening this week. We had the protest against the flyovers, which are just like randomly being put up wherever they feel like. But in all of these projects, we never see the real benefits for cyclists and walkers coming through. And I think it's useful for people to take a look at that as well. And we had the bus fest that was going on recently, where colleges are participating, many colleges with Urban Works Institute to participate in making the bus look cool, right? And feel cool. And it is cool to take the bus. That's the campaign that's having. And in parallel, while it is already a service that is running, the Bus Prayanikara Vedike is going around saying, why don't we fund the bus? Why doesn't the state government fund the bus? It's such a basic necessity. It shouldn't be left only to the revenue thing, fare box revenue anymore. So all these are happening. Do check them out on the CFAM newsletter. Sign up at cfam.substack.com. And while we have Nirav here, Peter Sagan is retiring from the World Tour races. What do you think about it? 2 monuments, 7 green jerseys. Man, he was a permanent fixture on Tour de France, Nirav. Like for as long as I have followed him, he's been in the green jersey. 7 of them and 3 world championships. He was quite an entertainer too. What do you think? You're on mute. You need to unmute. Well, it's a Zoom call. You need to unmute. There you go. Nope, you muted back. Do it once.
Yeah. Now, I was just saying that, Peter Sagan will dearly be missed in the entire pro peloton, because having him as a figure on and off the bike was just highly, firstly, entertaining, and secondly, highly inspirational as well. Him being, 3 World Tours back to back, World Tour titles. That's not, that's no joke. So, but
World Championships for his country for 3. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. We have him on the mountain bike for another year. So that's good. We have him at some pro level. So there's another year of getting to see him race bikes, which is great. Road bike or mountain bike, at this point, I'm just fine with anything as long as he's racing.
Well, he uses the road bike like a mountain bike, so it shouldn't be a surprise that he can. He goes back to what he's comfortable with. But he's been very entertaining for me. And when he said retiring, I was shocked. But he was not. Yeah. There are younger people now that have been coming up, and he's done a good ride so far. And so at least we'll see him around, like you said. He's not retiring. He's just taking a break from World Tour road races. He's going to continue to be on. But amazing, man. Yep. 2 monuments, 7 green jerseys, 3 world championships. What an entertainer. Yeah. But you know who else retired? You guys might not know. I followed this. Tom Brady retired from American football. So
again.
Again. He didn't do well this year, so he was again.
He retired again.
So just for the people who are interested.
Let's hope he sticks to it this time.
Let's hope he sticks to it. But he was a good guy. He was the GOAT there. And anyway, the Super Bowl is coming. Eagles versus Chiefs. It's just for people who are not from this side of town who don't follow that. Jalen Hurts versus a hurt Mahomes. All right, guys, that's it for this podcast. Thank you very much. Thank you guys for coming on, and we talked AltMo and bright future for all of us. Let's just go and crack it again.